Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Constitutionalist, lovers and connoisseurs of gourmet liberal tears. As a matter of fact, I have a steamy cup right here.
As do I. Who are you?
Who am I? I'm Charlie 556.
And I'm Ammo Dog.
Speaking of liberal tears,
yes,
we have some in another country right now. Big congratulations to the new president-elect, Javier Milei.
Yep.
I don't know, kind of a MAGA kind of guy.
Indeed.
Conservative candidate that won their country's election and made enough news for Donald Trump to talk about it. A couple times he posted congratulations to Javier Milei on a great race for president of Argentina. The whole world was watching. I am very proud of you. You will turn your country around and truly make Argentina great again.
Man, that's awesome.
This dude is like posting or he's posing with the Gadsden flag. Don't tread on
that.
me.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I don't know. Yeah. Hopefully that's some.
What are some of the things that he was saying he was going to do? Like that he was running on.
Oh yeah,
because he was running on those things prior, right?
So the Insider paper also posted about it, and it says Argentina's new president Javier Milei is against abortion, pro-gun, vowed to cut ties with China, insulted Pope Francis, and says humans are not behind climate change.
It's been a busy day.
Oh God, you remember that woman, I think it was, that like whenever Trump got elected, that was like screaming like with the big thick glasses and like she's there's a lot of those screaming right now.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Wow. So congrats to Argentina. I hope
kidding,
that
man.
Poor country. I mean, they've been on a socialist move since the 1800s.
Yeah, that's right.
Dictatorship for a while. So man, wouldn't that be a red wave, so to speak, that would move across Latin America? That would be insane.
I mean, I think it's high time. Here, the way that I see stuff like this is kind of like what Trump said when he was running. What do you got to lose? You've lived so much time under socialism and communism and all these isms, and to the point to where you're building you remember that meme that came out years ago? It's like socialism. It works so great that people are building rafts made out of shit to get to the shores of America. You know, and and even then when it came out, it made me laugh. But it's the God's honest truth.
Oh yeah,
you know,
it looks beautiful on paper. Oh man, everybody's equal.
Oh yeah,
but just equal. I mean,
equally working their ass off for
nothing.
for nothing.
Absolutely. So,
oh my God! But I'm stoked for them.
Yeah.
The gun thing will be interesting. So
Exactly.
I know he says he's pro-gun, and he's he's the president now.
Right.
So what does that mean exactly? He just likes them, or is he going to open the floodgate to allow citizens to be armed? You know?
Yeah, well, hopefully he has a legislative body that's also with him, or I don't know if they have any type of midterms. They can get to that point where maybe they can draft something new, you know.
Well, hopefully he doesn't have old Gavin Newsom on the, in his cabinet.
Why? Why not?
Did you hear about that homeowner in Commifornia?
I think I did see. It was a video, right? Home.
The video.
Camera.
Yeah, that came out actually like at least a couple of weeks ago. So the story is not brand new. The revelations since then are a little new. So for anybody out there who doesn't know it, this guy is an entrepreneur, lives in a ritzy neighborhood. He had his wife, his two children, and I think a relative, either his mother-in-law or his mom or grandma or somebody in the house. He was coming home from whatever he does, late at night from work, pulls in, he's trying to get into the door, and he is approached by at least two, I believe, armed
assailants.
Yeah, assailants, yeah. Man, that's how I was going to say it.
Oh, sorry.
Assailants.
There you go.
I'm just kidding. But anyway, they come up to him, and they're armed and demanding money, and they were going to enter the house, and And again, he's worried about his 2 little ones, but he's worried about everyone, in the house.
Oh, yeah.
Well, little do they know that he's packing as well. And he's drinking hot coffee or something. He splashes it in one guy's face. He just John Wicks this dude,
Yeah.
Turns around while the other guy's screaming, he pulls out his firearm and opens fire, and they start running. Now, it looks, if you're looking at it, and you even brought this up, that it looks like they're, he's firing at them while they're running, but
right.
Other video and testimony would reveal that they were actually running and firing back at him.
Yeah.
So he was the one actually returning fire. So anyway, at the end of the day, he calls the cops. They come running over, doing their investigation. He's getting pissed off by the minute because he doesn't believe that they're doing that thorough of a job. And he's convinced that it's a soft on crime area anyway.
Right.
It's a soft on crime state.
Exactly.
So he is already livid as he, rightfully feels that himself, his family, and his property have been personally attacked. But they're doing, according to him, dumb shit like leaving bullet casings from the other guy's guns all over the yard.
Evidence.
Yeah, evidence going, okay, I think we're wrapped up here. And he's like, hey, idiots. So he gets mad. Well, then I guess, again, this has been a couple of weeks. I haven't heard anything about it, but it was just in, the media today that the state has revoked his concealed carry permit.
Under what grounds?
Now, I don't know if this is him saying this or I would find it hard to believe that it would be law enforcement saying this, but the word is it's because he got pissed off and was insulting the police officers in their manner of their investigative lackluster skills,
God, I hope it isn't the truth.
Right,
but again, it doesn't surprise me there.
Right. I don't like the way you spoke to me. Yeah, your shit's revoked. So what a horrible thing. It completely against the Constitution, Oh, yeah. Not that actually, I don't know if it would be considered because there isn't shit in the Constitution about concealed carry permits. It's just...
That is your concealed carry permit.
Yeah, right, exactly.
It is.
No, you're right.
Or your open carry.
Right,
or your bazooka carry, yeah.
Definitely the man's rights have been trampled on.
Oh, for sure.
Simply for protecting his family and property.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't really know.
Well, maybe if the armed assailants and more of them would rush Gavin Newsom and demand things that would actually make their life better, they would,
That or maybe the Chinese president can ask Newsom to do it.
That's true.
Then it would get done overnight.
Yeah. He did a great job cleaning up the city of San Francisco.
Oh yeah.
Old Governor Newsom.
Well,
California's been in some news this week.
There's a lot of stuff having to do with California.
Yeah, well, I mean, what was it last week? Of course, President Xi from China.
Yes,
he's meeting with Biden, so Gavin has to clean the place up.
Right, because don't forget, Gavin was over in China, right? The other day.
Yeah, he's been hanging out with them,
big
looking
buds.
At birds, tackling little Chinese kids on the on the old basketball court, but so President of China comes in, hangs out with Biden. Who knows if there was any closed door meetings? I'm sure there was for another shakedown of do tit for tat for more money for probably his presidential library. There's no telling. But
what the hell's going to be in his presidential library?
I don't know, like his spokesmanship for Metamucil. I'm not sure what it's going to be, but
obviously it's going to be filled with his novels on how to run a country. Oh my God!
So
into the ground.
What's funny though is, did you happen to see after the meeting the big press conference where Joe gets to brag about absolutely nothing we got from that but a bunch of lip service? I mean, please ask the military to stop flybys on our jets and our aircraft carriers and all that stuff. And
this is Biden saying this to Xi?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah, and she's like, we'll have the two militaries talk to one another. I'll have my people call your people. They don't really give a crap. Just a bunch of lip service is all we got out of that. And so it's all buddy until President of China rolls out Biden's at that press conference
calling him a dictator.
Yeah, they're like, do you still think he's a dictator? And oh god, that didn't sit too well with Anthony Blinken. Anthony Blinken, whatever the hell his name is. He's did you see that? Oh gosh, you need to find that footage because you could just see his head just kind of sink down like, oh god, after Biden goes, well, of course he's still a dictator and blah blah.
Doesn't mean I don't love him.
Yeah. Well, that's what he does. And he goes on to defend it. And he goes, but they're basically saying this is the type of country they are. They're communists. So you got to be a dictator. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's all right.
We're trying here. We're gonna get there.
Also in the news, speaking of Chinese, it's like Chinese and California is what's overtaken the the mega stories going on. How about that secret Chinese lab found in California? Did you hear about that?
I did hear about it.
So apparently there were some local contracting officials that now I have no idea. It was kind of a weird story. Some of the details were kind of weird. So apparently this secret lab was discovered by some local contracting officials who discovered it while inspecting for code violations. So in my mind, and they don't explain anything else, I'm like, well, maybe it was a construction site, or I don't know. I'm like, okay, code violation. Unless they were just out looking at stuff. What was weird is they said that they had seen a green garden hose sticking up out of the ground. And that was like, hey, that was apparently a big code violation in California. That's what opened
you might be watering something.
Exactly.
They can serve that water.
Yeah, oh yeah. Seize him. Anyway, upon investigation, they discovered that there was, in fact, some strange lab that they call it a secret lab. It makes it sound like 007 stuff. But
did they say like what's in them? Like what
they
kind
did,
of lab?
yeah. But that's what I was saying. I guess it was in the manner in which it was concealed to make it look non-ominous. Okay. And then so when they were like, "Well, we're going in there to see if this garden hose is sticking up," God knows what else is in there.
Better not be storing rainwater.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, they go in there, and what they end up finding are basically thousands of vials of pathogens, along with a host of dead white lab mice all over the place. So what does that mean? I don't know. The Ashley Henson, who is the Iowa representative, Republican, she got wind of all of this, and she was, obviously red flags waving, and she's going off, and she's like, man, if they just if some city officials just by happenstance found this crazy lab, are there more all across the United States?
Yeah. What about all of the areas that are rural that
Right.
Oh man, next to the military bases.
Yeah, and they're buying up all that farmland and stuff. We don't know. And let's face it, they've already. When you think back to COVID, where you were nailed to the wall if you even mention that any of that came from China.
How dare you?
Right? Mm-hmm. Exactly. A lot of the pathogen that, the disease in vials that they found there, a big portion of that was COVID.
Really?
Yeah, the COVID
variants and
types
of, wow.
And so the belief is that the idea was to infect all these mice and let them run amok to infect everybody all over again.
Really?
Yeah, that's what the consensus is.
That brings a whole new kind of thing to the ball game here. If they're, I haven't heard of it being
biological warfare.
Or not only that, but it being transferred from mice to human.
Yeah. Unless they, again, that was the attempt. Maybe that's the whole purpose of the lab.
Yeah, it was a test.
Now, of course, they ended up just finding a bunch of dead mice. So maybe it ended up killing them.
Was it abandoned?
Yeah, they didn't find. They know who it is. They know who the guy is. They already arrested him. He is a.
Wow.
Well, he's a Chinese man, like a 62-year-old guy. This was actually last month. But see, the story gets crazy. So he was arrested last month. He was a wanted fugitive from Canada. Okay. What they discovered after his arrest and investigation is that he was basically receiving millions from the Chinese Communist Party. He had stolen millions of dollars in American intellectual property. and he had direct ties to the Chinese government.
Sounds like Biden.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
He's not smart enough to run a lab
Oh, that's true.
or a country. But I don't know. So it says that the FBI and this is where it gets weird. The FBI and the CDC were contacted, right, by local officials, but both of those agencies refused to investigate. At one point, city officials were so angry because they're like, you just have to come and see what we have already found. We found this. And at one point, the CDC hung up on them while they were no. So what they did, the local officials or whatever, they ended up contacting, what was his name? Jim Costa, Democrat out of California.
Yeah.
So they contacted him, and they explained to him what was going on, what they found, that there was an arrest made. They're just saying this is bigger than just a state. We need federal assistance here.
Right.
But they refused to investigate, and then they hung up on us, So he was a little miffed at that. So he lights a fire under FBI and CDC's asses. And then, and only then, do they go out and investigate, right? So they also find everything that the over 20 infectious agents is what they found. Not FBI agents, but pathological. There's a lot of infectious agents.
Oh, yeah.
The FBI already. But, so they only after being threatened, or I don't want to say threatened, but prompted by Costa, they found these numerous infectious agents. But at the end of the day, their report that they wrote was there is no evidence of select agents or toxins that were found. That was at the end of the day, and the case was closed. Mind you, now that was before. Now they look like complete buffoons again because it is now back as a story again, and now the FBI, they're denying that the hang-up thing ever happened or the refusal to investigate ever happened.
So basically what you're telling me and the folks out there is that local and state officials have discovered all of this evidence of a Chinese plot to include COVID and probably who knows what else, yet the Biden-ran FBI, CDC, and any other alphabet title out there is denying any of it.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah. That is strange.
Golly.
Yeah. That's funny.
I wonder how close this coincided with the little the beautiful dinner that Biden and Chinese.
Well, look, the thing is,
I think that actually I think it's over. It's been a while, and this is just ongoing. Actually.
Yeah.
I think
You're talking about the lab thing?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this has been a thing. It's just there little bits of information are coming out.
Right.
And with this, it's the latest is their denial that hey, we never got a contact. We were never contacted by these California local officials, and they're saying yes, the hell you were.
So they're calling them liars.
Yes, they're denying. That is against our protocol. So now it's this thing going on between them all. But the bottom line is, so they found over 1,000 mice dead, and so the thing, I guess, that runs through people's mind is, well, what if the 1,000 mice were left behind and they died? What if there were ones that didn't die and the guy ran, either sent them somewhere? You know what I mean? Like what?
Yeah.
What if those were the failed experiments and you have mice running around in our subways or whatever,
I mean,
spreading this crap around?
If it's been there there's no telling how long that thing has been there. That could have, for all we know, that could have been one of the launch pads to start shooting out the virus to everyone here.
Well, that's right.
It spread so fast and whatnot.
And don't forget,
people were flying in and out.
I know we were trying to think of the different ones. COVID was one of them, but it was Ebola, HIV. All of those different pathogens were found in this one lab. This is just one lab.
Golly.
It's
like a weekend at Hunter Biden's house.
Yeah, exactly right.
Well, in speaking, and that's scary stuff, and
all that, before we get off this, all of this, going to your point, all of this lab crap happening, without a doubt, funded and paid for by China, right? And
China. Yeah.
Exactly. And so this lab discovery and investigation and the FBI and CDC bungling, tripping over themselves, trying to cover up their stupidity, all this going on while Newsom and Biden are kissing the ace of the Chinese president for his visit here. Isn't that absolutely appalling?
It is.
In other words, you got people stepping over human turds all over San Fran, tripping over freaking homeless bodies. I don't mean dead bodies, but probably those too. But tripping over, trying to make a corn maze through tents all over the city, and then and your constituents begging you to do something about it.
Right.
Who knew that all it would take was a communist dictator's visit to the city for it to be spick and span?
Well, yeah, that's their, someone like the president of China that's a mentor to Newsom. That's somebody coming over here that's like, hey, let me show you in case you haven't got it down yet. I know that pesky Constitution's in the way, but let me give you some more blueprints on what to do here.
Well, he tackled that problem like a Chinese kid on the basketball court.
Well, it's the thing is and the FBI and all those alphabet and all those acronyms that refuse to investigate and refuse to say it even happened at all. I mean, I don't know what it is they're doing, because they're damn sure not doing their job in this whole classifieds document case with Biden.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure we've all heard now. There are not gonna be any charges in this classified document storage on President Biden, who was then senator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or vice president, right?
Vice president and senator. You're right.
Really?
Yeah, so two different. Yeah, because some of those go all the way back to when he was
a senator,
a young man. Yeah.
Oh my God!
Just nicely waltzing out of there with all those documents for all those years, found in two different locations at least.
Right.
And nothing going to be done.
What was their reasoning? Do you know? I mean, like for them to say, "Oh, no reason to be charged." Like to contrast it with Trump.
Well, I didn't hear anything, but then again, but here's the same thing in the Hillary Clinton situation when what's his name, moron, God, what was that FBI?
Comer.
Yeah, Comey. Yeah. So Comey's out there, and he's this of course is back in 2016. Although there were infractions, but no reasonable prosecutors would
no malintent was it? I got you.
It's the same thing,
But that
even on Fox News though, they were very quick to say or to explain that now keep in mind, we want you to keep in mind that these are far different circumstances of the Biden and even Pence situation of classified documents than the Trump situation.
I'm not asking you. I'm just saying.
I'll tell you how. Their reasoning is because whenever these documents were found by Biden's lawyers and whoever else, they were quick to notify the archives, everything. They were cooperative the whole time. And Trump was not. Trump fought with his legal team to keep these from getting back to the
So you're telling me, or they're telling us, that is part of the law when it comes to whether or not you break it or not, is how cooperative you know what I mean? Like, so if I go, and break into somebody's house and steal all their shit.
Yeah, and I do the same thing on the house next door.
Yes, but you're cooperative, and I'm like, no, I want to keep this TV.
You're in
then
trouble.
You're good.
Yeah,
and I'm not.
I get to keep what I. I don't get to keep as long as I give it back.
Yeah.
Okay, here you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm good to go, and then I'll send you cookies. Yeah, and Christmas time in the pen. Yeah, that's exactly what they're telling us.
Send me a file. Yeah, I know, man.
And Hillary the same way. Thousands and thousands of email documents that
purposely
they know damn well got in the hands of those that shouldn't have got it.
Yeah.
Foreign adversaries and all. Nothing.
Yep. It is a wacky world. It is a wacky country of ours right now. See, you and I are sitting here talking about how ludicrous this is. The obvious turning of the eye, the law's eye,
Mm-hmm.
for one political party as opposed to the other.
Absolutely.
And if you and I are sitting here, you know damn well that everybody is looking at this. I don't care which side of the aisle you're on. Even if you're a Democrat, you're probably like, well, damn, I'm glad it's working for me, but I don't really understand how,
Mm-hmm.
Even they have to be asking the question, It's, again, I've said it before on this show. I think it is just, it's one of two things, and it's probably a combination of both of them. They either really believe that you and me are that stupid and the rest of the country,
Mm-hmm.
or they don't give a damn. They look, here is our hypocrisy right in your face. I don't care what you think of it.
Right.
We're still doing
And
it.
I think it's a trifecta. I think it is those two things. It is, we don't give a damn, you're too stupid. But then the third is also, if we just keep giving them free stuff, if we just keep, you know what I mean? Like control the hell, all that control, and make them think that you cannot survive without us, that you're good to go. You're not going to question when the government's giving you subsidized housing, when they're giving you free food, when they're giving you free medical, when they're giving, I'm going to give you a phone, no problem.
Yeah.
Just thank Uncle Brock. Like that. Those are the things that they're counting on. All this illegal immigration flooding in with the hopes of becoming voters one day.
Yeah.
They're hoping that they're going to remember them and everything that we did for you. That way, when the shit hits the fan and other stuff, it's okay. It's okay. They're going to take care of us.
But see, it just seems to me that in times past, they used to at least try to cover their tracks a little bit.
Oh, yeah, they did.
It would still get discovered,
Well,
but then there would be egg on their face for a little while, whatever. Now, they don't care about the eggs.
No,
they're we don't care what you see us doing.
Right. Well, and that's like
the roaches no longer scatter when the lights come on.
Right.
They're all sitting there looking at you.
Well, it's like a big heist, So when the heist first starts out, you got to do a little, do a little surveillance. You got to, or let's just say, you know what? Let's do it for like a contingency, like an operation, military operation.
Mm-hmm.
Send in the guys to the recon first. It's going to start off small. It's going to start off quiet as possible. But whenever the shots start firing, hey, obviously the jig is up. So we just go ahead and get the job done.
Right.
It's the same thing. So for all of these years, it's been quiet. It's been steady. It's been under the radar. Let's get everybody in place. Once all team members, all right, we're good to go. All right, let's unleash hell.
Yeah.
So that and
I guess, man. I mean, you're probably absolutely right. What it does to me is it just infuriates me, like I know it does many of you out there. It is, again, I just think it is the exact opposite of what any of our founding fathers had intended.
Most certainly.
I'll just tell you this short story. Since we've had our podcast and we've kind of got a few listeners here and there, our show kind of gets around a little bit, and I'm thankful for it. We said from the get-go that we would welcome feedback, whether it's good or bad.
Right.
And I still stand by that. I do. We can learn from both types of feedback. Mm-hmm. But I had a lady contact me and obviously heard the show. She was less than happy with how we were presenting things.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and we had a bit of a tit for tat. One of the things she said was, are you guys constitutional professors or attorneys? And I answered back, I was like, not at all. We're just two concerned citizens exercising our First Amendment rights.
Right.
And her reply to that was, then you know nothing about the Constitution. That was her reply, and I was like, I said, look, the Constitution was not written and then quickly hidden away until someone with a constitutional law degree came along.
To interpret it, right?
Yeah. It was written for the citizens that existed at that time and for us now. But it was written for all.
Oh, yeah.
All to recognize their rights. It wasn't written to be talked about in congressional halls and houses of representatives,
right.
To be battled back and forth by political pundits. It was made for you and me and each and every one of you, and even this nice lady that contacted me.
Right.
And so that's what I ended up telling her. It was written for everyone to know what their God-given rights were. We are smart enough to read what our founding fathers intended for us without the use of attorneys.
Regardless of what the Democrats
Yeah.
say. You're not
Exactly.
smart enough for that.
Well, that's kind of my point, when we were talking about all this craziness about how they don't care, about they just assume you're so stupid. But look, it's when I think back to this person that sent me all this,
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not, she's conditioned to react that way. She's obviously left-leaning Democrat. To her, she is one of many that have been conditioned to not formulate a thought on their own.
Right.
If you see a report on TV, right? You have to wait for the box to tell you what to think.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. You might have an initial reaction, like, "Oh crap!"
Right.
But I better not say anything because my
Right.
my leaders have not told me what to say yet.
Yeah.
So they have to wait. And then once they do, that's why they all say the same crap every single time. Look, you didn't hear anything about frickin' Israel and Jew hatred every day. You didn't hear that. You had pockets, the people spouting off, but they were quickly shunned, and they were made to look like buttholes, which they were. But look at the widespread right now, the widespread Jew hatred going on all over the world. But let's just talk about this country and how out of the woodwork it has exploded on the scene.
Of course. If this would have happened on October 6th, if there would have been some moron on some Ivy League college holding a poster that said, "Kill the Jews, Hitler was right," those same idiots would be on, "Oh my God, look at this," with the coexist stickers and everything.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
But it's those bandwagon morons. And to that lady that has, we don't want to give her name out or anything like that. We're not going to do anything like that. But if that was you, ma'am, who commented about what exactly did, or close enough, what did she say again, just because it's not in front of me?
Oh, the constant.
Yeah, the one you're just talking about.
Yeah, are we constitutional professors or attorneys?
Yeah, then we don't know anything.
Then they don't know anything about the Constitution.
This is Charlie556. I invite you anytime. Please shoot us another message. Give us a call. You can be a guest on the show. We love some spirited conversation and debates, but I guarantee you will walk away educated, more educated on the Constitution, obviously, since you don't know it well. But yeah, absolutely. Anytime, any place you want to debate, let's go. I'd love to.
My liberal tear cup is getting kind of low.
Yeah, I know. I need to brew some more anyway. So absolutely, come on the show. And here's the thing: you give your side. I'll let you speak. I'll let you have your time, and then I shall educate you.
Oh God, yeah.
No, but we do. We appreciate it.
We do, of course.
You absolutely have the right.
Yes.
Even though you're completely wrong, you have the right to believe that. That is the beautiful part about this country.
That is or it should be. It should be.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be shouted down and silenced.
No, of course not.
For your beliefs. And people that fall on that side of the aisle love doing that all day long.
Oh yeah.
They want to be heard, but when it's your turn to speak, or they scream. You've seen it, where they just scream at you.
Because thank God Biden is the constitutionalist genius that he is, that can explain to people that, no amendment is absolute.
Right.
And, you need an F-15 to fight against the government and free speech and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Graduating last in his class and lying
about it.
Yeah. Give me a break. No, ma'am.
I've said some dumb things, and I'm probably going to say some dumb things again. Never forget that.
Yeah. Well, there's not a doubt in my mind, sir.
That's the truest. That's the most honest he's ever been.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, that and when he said, what was I don't know the exact quote, but he was like, "We've established the most." When he was talking about the election fraud or whatever, I think, the biggest and most elaborate election fraud the country's ever seen. Freudian slip.
Yeah, I know.
No, definitely. Every one of you, if you don't have...
if you're a... Look, here's a little indicator, right? If you're somebody important, like a president, right? and you have to have people walk back your statements every time you open your ancient raisin hole.
Oh, yeah.
Then
Oh, it's bad, yeah. I mean,
chances are you need to be fishing in a boat very close to the dock.
I'm not a fan of any one of his press secretaries, but man, do I feel bad for him.
Oh, yeah.
That is a job.
Raggedy Ann?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure.
They have to set aside,
Actually,
every hours a day.
I thought that until Jean-Pierre came along, because all you have to do is say, well, I'm just not going to talk about that. Yeah,
Too, yeah.
Now I'm like, shit, that's an easy job.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Yeah, the weather, or get into meteorology,
Yeah.
because that's two areas where you can be wrong all the time and keep your job. Apparently, when I go out and sit in the tree stand and it says it's a south wind, it's a north wind bigger than hell.
If being a leftist is wrong, I don't want to be right. God, man.
Preach it. But you know what's scary though, and I'll go into another thing. We can talk. And here's the thing, we're fair. We've been talking a lot of crap about Democrats and liberals, but you know what? Nikki Haley.
We talk a lot of crap, and we'll probably talk a lot more crap.
Nikki Haley.
Yeah.
Man, oh man. I just don't like her. She is establishment as
there are some true colors coming out.
Oh,
I used to have a lot of respect.
I did
You
too.
know that
I
I
did
stayed.
too.
I lived in South Carolina for her entire governorship.
Mm-hmm. She did a wonderful job.
She did. The only time that I did not see eye to eye, and I don't mean to stomp all over your point here, but the only time I didn't see eye to eye with her is the Confederate flag ordeal.
Right.
Taking it down after it was already removed from the state capitol. It had its own little location, and that's what everybody agreed on. And then she intervened and even took that away, and that is where I
destruction of history.
Yeah, that's where I had a problem with her from the first time, I should say, that I ever had an issue with her. But go ahead.
Oh yeah, no. Well, I mean, continuing with that, one of the latest things, and as a matter of fact, she was on a podcast recently where she stated that if she had it her way, there would be no anonymity in social media.
Right.
So,
wow, that's right. I did hear that.
Yeah. So I mean,
so
let's think. Yeah, go ahead.
No. She would oust everyone. And
you would have. You have to have a registered name.
Yep.
No matter what.
So the Constitutionalist wouldn't fly.
Yeah, pretty much. We'd have to have full names, all that good stuff. Anyone out there, and this was just they were just talking.
You know
about
what?
X
When I hear stuff like that, I always think, especially like politicians that are running for a powerful office. Mm-hmm. Let's just take this for example. How did she put it? There will be no anonymity.
Well, she said we need to stop it. We need to stop these accounts that are out there that are basically saying spreading misinformation, whatever, either side. And,
okay.
Yeah.
We
need to know who these people are.
Right. And my thing, as soon as I hear stuff like that, I always stop and go, or what? Right. What are you going to do about it? Mm-hmm. If I don't want to be called by my identifying name, if I want to have a talk show or a podcast that discusses current events, and I want to use the term the Constitutionalist, and I want to use Ammo Dog, and you want to use Charlie 556, what the hell is she or anybody else going to do about that?
Yeah, well, I mean, as the government gets bigger and bigger. So, but again, establishment. I don't know, just another rhino.
There's always been underground stuff,
Oh, yeah.
And I don't care if we got to get ham radios and broadcast. I will never stop.
Well, and here's the here's the danger with that.
Right.
And people now feel like I've heard arguments on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
But when this country was in the process of being founded, when the patriots were getting together and talking about stuff,
right?
They didn't have social media.
No. That is amazing to think about, isn't it?
Yeah. So they printed literature.
Yes.
And a lot of them did that
anonymously.
Right.
Silence Do Good for Benjamin Franklin.
Exactly.
The Federalist Papers.
And they did that because there was an oppressive government.
That's right.
that would if they would have found out who these traitors were.
Right.
What do you think would have happened?
Yeah,
we wouldn't be talking right now.
No, we wouldn't
be talking like this. If I was even allowed to talk, because it damn sure wouldn't be to criticize the government.
Yeah, you're right.
So,
and I'll tell you, it's funny
this is
how
where it's dangerous.
Well, it is, but you can also, just because we're talking about pre-revolution stuff,
mm-hmm.
you can appreciate even more the fact that they had that in mind when they wrote the Constitution.
Right.
When they were running a printing press, saw the wrong that an oppressive government was bestowing on them, and knew that, man, I have to use a name like Silence Dogood to talk crap about this government, or else I might be tarred and feathered in the streets, right? Or worse.
Exactly.
And once that behind was kicked, and we formed our own government, they made sure to include that so we would never have to worry about that again.
Exactly.
So everybody out there, to Charlie 556's point, this is part of why we're here. Why we have the name that we have, the Constitutionalist. It's to discuss such things so that we may never forget that it doesn't matter that there's a Constitution. Since the day it was written, there have been people trying to overturn it, to undermine it, to tell you that it's not absolute. You have rights. You have rights to say what you want to say, how you want to say it, and when you want to say it.
Exactly.
From that lady that contacted me to us sitting here in a couple of chairs talking to all of you. Your rights are your rights, and every one of them are detailed. It's not even a long document. The Bill of Rights. It's not even that long. If you look over it, it spells it out, and it is most of those things are a direct result of the oppression that those founding fathers went through and experienced.
Right.
And they wanted to make sure that you and I, for generations to come, would relish in the freedoms and liberties that we have.
Yeah.
And being able to have the freedom of the press, freedom of speech, that is just as huge as any Second Amendment or anything else.
Absolutely.
They all work in unison. So I don't know. It is obviously a passionate subject, and it pisses me off when anyone tries to do things like that, but especially when it's someone who calls themselves a conservative and a Republican.
Yeah.
So I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah, I don't know how much. I don't know how far that news will reach, or I think that if like the Ron DeSantis's and like the next time there's a debate coming up, if they don't use that to their advantage
against her,
then
I'm sure Ramaswamy will.
Oh yeah,
probably light her
if
ass up.
Vivek hears about this, absolutely. Yeah. I think he was there, or not there, but I think since then that it has come up to where they've been on not a debate stage, but I think they were in Iowa, I believe.
A little at an event
and whatnot. Yeah. So it's they're there together in a lot of places other than the debate stage. So if it hasn't already, it's probably
it's coming.
Come up soon.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's switch gears for just a second, because I wanted to bring this up before we bounce, and that is Speaker Johnson. You've heard that he's planning on, or is in the midst of. He might have already done it. I know he said he's going to do it in small bits, but he's releasing over 40,000 hours of J6 footage.
Wow.
So already the contradictions are coming out.
This is on top of the stuff that Tucker
Carlson this is in addition to. Okay. Because, Tucker...
Wow.
They demanded, if you remember, Chuck Schumer demanding to know how he got it.
Demanding Fox did something about it.
Yeah, which they did. Oh, yeah, yeah.
How's that for freedom of the press?
Exactly,
right.
Exactly, yeah. The thing is, though, so, Mike Johnson comes out, releases this, and he said it's not like 40,000 all at once.
Right. He
released quite a bit, but he said, what we're going to do is we're going to stretch this out. We're going to release some at a time. They either have, or if I knew it, I would tell all of you, but there's going to be a public website created
I've heard that.
For all of us to go to.
Anybody can go to.
Yes, and you can all view it for yourself.
Good for him.
I'll tell you, it ended up, I guess, obviously some of your other senators have viewed a little more than what we have so far. And you had Senator Mike Lee, and that dude was livid. And based on what he had seen, and he was calling for an investigation of the now defunct January 6th committee to include Liz Cheney and all those yahoos that were on there, and claims that they deliberately hid tapes from us. And a lot of us, you and I, and we've said that for a long time. And then
So basically, we were only shown the things that they wanted us to
yes,
see.
because...
No, not...
Now check this out, though. I like the way Mike Lee did this, because you had Speaker Johnson saying, hey, I'm getting ready to release 40,000 hours of this. Well, immediately after that, this was on X, right? Old Twitter.
Right.
So right after that, Liz Cheney released one clip that everybody's seen a million times, and that's with some of the rioters getting into it with Capitol Police. Mm-hmm. And she said, "Yeah, this isn't news. We've already seen footage of January 6th." And then under that caption, she put the same old video.
Right.
And that's when Mike Lee got a hold of her, and he was like, "Yeah, we know that's your footage because you've released that a million times." Mm-hmm. That's the one we've seen. He goes, what we're interested in are the 40,000 plus hours that you hid from us on purpose.
Oh, wow.
And so he describes, there was one where I guess it shows footage of cops uncuffing a protester, and then the two of them fist bumping.
Wow.
Walking around, being shown. Basically, it was like a tour guide, and we've already seen some of that with Buffalo Hat Guy.
Yeah. Tucker's.
With Tucker's tapes. On one of the particular videos that he highlighted for Liz Cheney, I'm still referring to Mike Lee here. He said, and how many of these were federal guys? How many of these were FBI guys?
Right.
And he goes, of course, you're not going to answer that one either. You're going to hide that from us, too. Mm-hmm. So he was like lighting her ass up,
Wow.
So we'll see what's to become of that. I can't wait to look at some of this footage. I doubt I'll probably sit through 40,000 hours. But on the other hand, I am retired.
Well, that's true.
Anyway, look, and I'll just tell you guys this. We all know that Israel is still doing their thing over there. Mm-hmm. It's just that for us, you don't have to hear it here, too. You can turn on any TV, hear the same thing. There's really nothing more to report. But I will say, still 100% stand behind Israel and their sovereignty, their own decision making to kick the crap out of people who harm them.
Oh yeah.
So that goes without say. We just didn't. I mean, we could spend freaking 2-3 hours talking about it.
Oh yeah.
But it doesn't mean that our hearts aren't with them, No. And I don't care. I will never be a part of the explosion of this Jew hatred going on. I will fight that to the core. They're allies, and I don't know. That's really all I got to say about it. It's nothing has changed on that. If you don't hear us talking about an Israel story, it doesn't. It's the same for me. I support them wholeheartedly.
And in the same, while the war is raging there and Israel's doing what they got to do, it is still satisfying to see the left coming unhinged, unglued, eating themselves alive.
Shooting themselves. Absolutely, you said it before. They painted themselves in the corner over this.
Yep.
And now they just... And again, it
Genocide Joe.
Now look, it might be to us... We're like, oh crap! They painted themselves in a corner.
Yeah.
But again, these are the people who don't give a damn what you think.
Right.
So they don't care. They're probably not going to care that you see them for what they are again.
Right.
They're just like, oh well, you've seen us, so well.
Yeah.
Again, the cockroaches aren't running anymore when the lights shine on them.
No.
They're sitting there playing patty cake, staring at you.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Well, another fun, thought-provoking freaking hour here, or almost hour. But we appreciate you guys, and I'll just tell you, please look us up wherever you get your podcast from. Check us out on YouTube at Constitutionalist71 on YouTube. If you want to send us an email, it's theconstitutionalist71@gmail.com. Please get hold of us. Let us know. Again, we might have kind of did a little bashing with this woman that contacted us, but the bottom line is we welcome that, and
Absolutely.
Of course, we have a position. She has a position. We have the microphones right now, so we're going to talk about our position.
Oh yeah.
But we respect everybody's opinion. What I do promise you is you're not going to get screamed at and shouted out like you see a bunch of libs on the corner doing with their pink hats on and crap. That doesn't happen here. Our hats are blue. I'm just kidding. But at any rate,
They're red.
yeah, they're red with anger. Yeah, well, I got you.
MAGA hats.
Yeah. So at any rate, thank you guys very much. Drop us a line. Consider subscribing. We're starting out. We just want to get our show out there, and really the purpose of that for me is if you have more viewers, then you have a little more interaction with them, and that's to me what it's all about. Let's share ideas. We want to get some more guests on here. We're possibly going to have a very special guest coming up. And I think we'll just kind of keep a lid on that for right now. But we got a lot to work out with this individual. But if we can get him on the show and everything works out, I think you guys are going to be pretty interested with what he has to say. And I guess we'll leave it at that for now. We'll see if we can iron out some of these details. This cat's been through a lot of crap, though, and we're going to touch base with him, see what we can figure out. So short of that, I think we're outie.
Well, look out, kids. It's Turkey Day coming up. Hope you did all your shopping. Have a fun, safe Thanksgiving. And don't eat too much.
Do that again.
And stay frosty, kids.
Stay frosty. Happy Thanksgiving, you guys.
Take care, y'all.
See ya.